north, the east and the west. The battle for matter, only the music can settle the score. Run till you die. Run till you die. You die alone, then turning to bone. So run till you die. Yeah, thoughts reflecting my eyes, and when they eat my flesh, but I got the power to win all the hours to run my life away. The sound of the crowd, the creak of the bones, I play it so loud with my mates or alone. It don't really matter if my world should shatter. I hold it together in iron and stone. Run till you die. Run till you die. You die alone, then turning to bone. So run till you die. Run till you die. Run till you die. You die alone, then turning to bone. So run till you die. Run till you die. Run till you die. You die alone, then turning to bone. So run till you die. Run till you die. Run till you die. You die alone, then turning to bone. So run till you die. Run till you die. Run till you die. Run till you
Hey guys, welcome to the True Blue Riffcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Dave. My name is Christine DeBelle, but many of you know me as Susan from A Talking Cat. And as you know, I have to go and get my cheese puffs out of the oven. So have a great time with Jeremy and Dave. See you soon.
Thanks, Christine. This is the True Blue Riffcast, the #1 Riff Tracks podcast in the world. I am Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
Sup, it's me, Dave.
Wow, Dave. You sound so excited to be here today.
Well, I'm kind of on
Dave.
what? Well, I mean, you know, I just watched this movie called Things, and
Yeah, there is that.
I'm kind of like it's kind of a downer, man. It had an effect on me, and the fact that I don't know if I ever want to watch another movie ever again.
I don't think it's quite that bad. I mean, it's not great, but
it's pretty bad. I mean, we'll talk about this later. Little teaser.
Oh yes, we will definitely be talking about this movie for a while.
Things is it's real bad. It's and I just honestly, like, I watched it maybe 2 hours ago, and I don't know what I'm going to say about it. It defies sort of like comprehension. It really is. It's like, I wouldn't say it's as bad as Copper Mountain, but it's in that same sort of like trash tier, like probably like bottom 10 Riff Tracks movie selections.
So aside from having your soul die, have you done anything interesting lately?
Have I done anything interesting lately? I donated to the Riff Tracks Kickstarter, and
Yeah.
we had a podcast about that no one will ever hear again.
No, because they were having some issues over on Kickstarter, and the whole thing kind of went haywire. Not us. This was the first time none of the problems were on us. It was just everything else. And
yeah, Kickstarter kind of crapped the bed.
Yeah, and we couldn't. Josh, yes, Josh, you did hear it. You're right. But we'll talk about the Kickstarter in a minute also, because we do have some more to discuss about that. I'm just trying to bring this up because I want to show everybody what fun thing I did this weekend before I shaved my head off.
You shaved your head?
Yeah, well, I shaved my face. My beard is gone, as anyone in the chat could be able to see. Oh, excuse me. It looks really weird.
Whoa, hold on. Let me bring this up.
Because I've had...
Oh, wow.
I just have a little tiny bit. I went a little too short with the clippers. I accidentally grabbed the wrong size guard, and so it got way shorter than I wanted it to. But I got to do something really fun on Saturday, and that is right here. I went to go visit the Wienermobile. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. And we got some pictures.
Are you from Wisconsin? What?
You've never seen the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? It's like a giant hot dog cart.
I thought it was like a myth.
No,
it's
like
real. McDonald Land.
It's real, and it was glorious. My wife got to
you telling me
show off this.
You telling me that the Wienermobile is real is like you telling me that you actually went to McDonald Land and met Ronald McDonald.
No, see, there's my beard on display. They've had this big thing with all the information about the Wienermobile that's been around since 1936. It's gone through a few updates, but yeah, it was fun. There was a whole lot of people in line waiting to see this thing. But yeah, that's what I did on Saturday, and then I went home and shaved all my beard off, except for just this
Why did you do such a
5%? I always shave it off around this time of year. Like I said, I just got a little short on the clippers, so it looks really weird. But yeah, so that's the fun thing that I did. That was we had an afternoon date, and we went to go see the Wienermobile without the kids.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun for kids at all to go see a car shaped like a hot dog.
Well, they were all gone anyway, so
okay.
It didn't matter. They were doing things that were much more enjoyable for them, I'm sure.
I bet they found out. I bet they found out. Like you went to see the Wienermobile without us.
One of my girls actually went.
Car shaped like a hot dog without us.
One of my girls actually went. She went with her friend. They were doing stuff for her birthday, and so she went out with her friend, and they all went to go see the Wienermobile. It was one of the things they did. So, yeah, that's riveting entertainment. I know, talking about the Wienermobile, but we can talk about something that's even more riveting. We can talk about whatever the hell James Wen's doing.
Yeah.
And right now,
our buddy, he's taking a little break.
Right now, yeah, it's here's the tweet up here for everybody to see. Taking a break from Birdemic 3 post-production, James Wen is in Vinh Long, Vietnam. I call BS on this because James Wen doesn't know what the hell post-production is. In case you don't remember the famous riff, you're gonna fix this in post, right?
What the hell is post? Keep flailing.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what it is. I mean, it's a nice looking building behind him, I guess. Apartment complex with a nice playground.
Yeah, Vietnam's really cleaned itself up since the war.
Dave.
What?
Post-production, so what, 2 hours? Yeah, if he even spends that much on it, Josh. I don't think he even spends that much on it, because like I said, he doesn't know what the hell post is, so.
Well, his post is like he opened up iMovie.
He probably doesn't even use
It's just
iMovie. He probably uses whatever those free programs are that you get with your digital camera back in the early 2000s.
To be fair, iMovie is like not that bad of equipment if you know how to like use it right. But I don't know. But bleh.
He's more akin to somebody making a Flash animation on Newgrounds back in the day.
You want to know who didn't use iMovie? The director of Things
The director
might have greatly enhanced the movie.
might have. You know who else didn't use iMovie? The director of The Batman, which is the number one movie in the country. It brought in $134 million so an opening weekend, followed by Uncharted, Dog, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Death on the Nile. Spider-Man No Way Home now up to $786.6 million. We'll see if the Batman can catch that. My son went to go see it. He said that he actually really liked it. A lot of other people are saying that they enjoyed it, but they would have liked it if it were about an hour and a half shorter, because I guess it's like 3 hours long. And
I've been hearing like the length is just a butt buster.
It's a pretty slow burn detective movie, which, you know, Batman is the world's greatest detective or whatever. So, you know, I guess I could see that. I don't know. I'll watch it when it hits HBO Max in a couple months. I don't really
I've decided
care.
I'm not going to see it.
I just don't. I stopped caring about Batman a long time ago. I don't know.
It's
Batman. Batman's still cool, but
chew on this. Batman versus Superman was 6 years ago this month.
oh jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty bad, isn't it?
They did show a trailer before the Batman for another movie with Batman in it, and a version of Batman who might be tied for best along with the Lego Batman, and that's Keanu Reeves voicing Batman in Super Pets.
Super Pets.
The League of Super Pets or whatever they're doing with Crypto and all these other animals that get superpowers and they have to save the Justice League.
How about we don't? How about we just stop?
It doesn't look great.
Stop with movies altogether.
Keanu Reeves as Batman, like voicing Batman, I like that. I really like that part of it.
Good Batman.
Yeah. Whoa. I know Kung Fu because I'm Batman.
Here's where I'm at with these legacy movies, and I was a big fan of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I was like this. If you'd asked me 10 years ago if I wanted to see more Back to the Future stuff, I would have said yes, sign me up.
Oh no, I do not want more Back to the Future at this point.
Yeah, and then everything, they started like rolling out all this nostalgia stuff, like from Star Wars, Star Trek. With the TV shows are hot garbo.
It's all pretty much hot garbage.
Ghostbusters.
Scream.
What's that?
I said it's all pretty much
Scream.
hot garbage. Hey, what's up, Atomic Hero Squad? Thanks for popping in.
I just want it to stop now. Like all these legacy franchises, from Star Wars to Star Trek to Ghostbusters to Doctor Who to whatever the hell else. It's just not helpful at this point. Just stop. We let those things go.
Okay, but you still want Mandalorian season 3, right?
Sure, but I mean, in general, like movies from like 1980 to like 2003, you can just stop with them. You can just stop trying.
We don't need sequels this long after, guys.
Yeah, like anything like that was a brand new property from like 2004 on, maybe, okay, but that was 18 years ago now. Anything before 18 years ago, anything before the time, like if a baby was born today and it's an adult right now, okay? So go back and go to that dude's birthday, okay? And if the movie was made before that, if the movie itself is a legal adult, leave it alone because you're just gonna wreck it, and it's gonna be bad, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems. And
so you don't want a new Back to the Future trilogy? Is that what you're saying?
10 years ago, I did want one, but I don't have faith in Hollywood to execute it properly. And I've just come to realize that like those, like the time for those movies has passed.
Yeah.
Like that's the past. They still exist. We can watch them over and over again on Blu-ray or whatever is going to replace 4K next. And we're all going to have colossal.
8K, isn't it 8K?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I
still watch 4K.
I still watch stuff on DVD.
Oh, me too. I love watching movies on DVD.
I watched 24. I watched like season 5 of 24 on DVD. And you want to know something that my niece told me? Like I have like my little like retro game hookup here. I have two screens. I have one screen that's got all the new stuff, and then this other screen that's got all the classic gaming stuff on.
You got an old CRT TV?
No. It's a TV I bought in 2000. It's a TV I got in 2009, but it's fine. I've never had any problems with it. But my niece, who was like, she's 16 now, but she had to have been like 10 or 12 at the time. This is like in 2016. Yeah. I know that seems like not that long ago to us, but to them it's like a third of their life ago.
Right.
It's like 2016. Well, that was when Ruby and Mothra came out. But it's recent to us. But she says she went up to my PS2 and she's like, "Wow, you have a PS2. That's so retro." And I was like, "Get out. Get out.
Leave my house right now." So we got some discussion a little bit anyway going on in the chat here. Someone's asking what their best guess is about the March 15th announcement. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll see there's the Rift Tracks intro TV, and it's got some static, and then March 15th pops up, and then back off and back to the static. This is in regards to the Rift Tracks Kickstarter, which, as we mentioned last week, was starting with the Return of Swamp Thing being the live show for this year. The Kickstarter reached full funding less than 24 hours after it launched.
Like always,
which is completely awesome. And this right here is something additional that they're announcing. Now, they said it's not going to be another movie for a live show.
Boo.
Which, it stinks. I would have liked to have gotten two, but, they're still being cautious with all the stuff going on still after 2 years. And I don't blame them for that. I mean, obviously, the guys aren't as young as they used to be either.
Yeah, I think,
so I know that contributes.
That's got something to do with it. I think that's got something to do with it. But I also think that, how do I put this nicely? I think we're in the sort of twilight phase of Rift Tracks Live. Maybe.
They might switch how they do it. I mean, all of these other, we've got the Mads. They do stuff online live. We've got Mary Jo Peel, and she does hers live online, and we've got the new season of MST3K. Feel how you will about it, but they do theirs also
on the app. I downloaded
there?
that app. We can talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah. So Josh says he's got a few clues he thinks, but he can't figure it out. And they did say, yes, that it will involve the fans participating. I have a very, very educated guess on this, and I can't tell you anything other than the fact that this was something that I accidentally learned about a couple months ago, that there were talks that it was going to be a thing.
Jeremy likes to snoop, everybody. He likes to snoop around. He likes to snoop around and look for secret things that haven't been announced yet.
Back in the day, I used to be real good at finding stuff. Like I was announcing live shows on my website before Rift Tracks announced them, like by weeks, because I was finding stuff. Mike said on the 372 Pages podcast that he was revisiting Fun in Balloonland for a secret Rift Tracks project. Yes. That would definitely be in line with this, and I unfortunately can't even give any hints.
Can I tell you what I think it is?
It's 6 days, guys. You'll figure it out in 6 days. What do you think it is, Dave?
I think it might be a video game of some kind.
That would be weird. It would be fun, but it would be weird.
Well, I mean, it's. I mean, like,
Oops.
I mean, they're not like game developers, but they did say that it's something that they have never done before. It involves audience interaction. My guess is that it's some sort of text-based trivia game, like Rift Tracks Trivial Pursuit, or some such.
That could be fun. Maybe they'll do it like you could do like an online, where somebody like hosts it, from Rift Tracks, and then all the fans can jump in, and it could be. That could be interesting.
I mean, it's not going to be like Rift Tracks Minecraft or Rift Tracks Animal Crossing or like.
Yes, they're adding the bird version of Kevin, the weird inflatable CG bird version of Kevin to Animal Crossing. For the Switch. That was weird. You know what? I'm going to next week, since I don't think I could do it quick enough here. Next week, I'm going to get the Shorts Volume 1 DVD out. And I will show you Volume 1. I got to write it on my whiteboard so I don't forget. The weird-ass, very experimental CG-hosted version of Shake Hands with Danger. It was the only place to see it. Is on this DVD collection, and it's insane because they kind of like tried to combine, having the puppets from Mystery Science Theater with CG, and Bill is the bird, Kevin is the sentient bag of popcorn, and then it's just a CG Mike Nelson. Like, I'll show you guys next week. I'll bring it up, and I'll show you a couple stills from it.
They ditch that faster than, because it sounds horrible.
Yeah, Josh says he has that DVD specifically because of that short. That's the whole reason I bought it as well, because I wanted that version of the short. I'm a completist when it comes to shorts. There are a few that you could only get in certain ways, like on certain DVDs. Like with the CG version of this, there's a what is it? I think it's What's Happening. One of the versions of What's Happening is only available on one of the DVDs. I think it's Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny DVD, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually looked at the DVDs in a while, outside of the Toxic box set that I got last week. But yeah, Dave, you wanted to bring up the MST3K app,
the Gizmoplex. Yeah. So I downloaded this thing, and I played around like unless you actually like buy like their riffs and subscribe to their service, you can't really do much. like you can watch this weird trailer for like something for like one of the movies for their quote unquote season 13 app. But the thing is, it's really hard to navigate. Like I really didn't get it. Like I was in it for about 10 minutes, and I was trying to find like a buy here button or something, but it's not very fun. Like it's not very user friendly. It's you open this thing up, and it's kind of like a maze. I mean, I did create a free account, but even if I wanted to buy any of their movies, I didn't see any buttons for add this to cart or like how that would even work. So the app's very confusing. It could be a lot better. The functionality of it is not straightforward. So
wasn't it like a
I would
subscription or something?
I don't know. I mean, like I suppose since like I am not of the kind that is going to be getting their subscription service anyway, because I really don't want to spend any money on that. So it's like this review, it's like it's not functional, but I don't have a full account. So I guess it's not really fair for me to make these judgments. But
we're just going to snap judge on something.
Yeah, I didn't see any options to like make a full account. It's really weird. Like I think maybe they might be catering towards the Kickstarter donors, and like that's how everything. And but what I want to say mainly about the app, even if I did figure it out and spend money, which I'm not going to spend to buy a movie, it seems to me the only way to watch this movie because they make a big deal. It's like premiering only in the Gizmoplex, coming to the Gizmoplex. So they make a big deal about only being able to watch it in the Gizmoplex app. Now, what if you want to watch it on your TV?
Yeah, you probably have to Chromecast or cast it to your TV or whatever.
Phone?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you have to Chromecast it or whatever. Or,
what?
Whatever Apple's equivalent is, AirPlay or whatever.
Well, that sounds like a colossal pain.
Yeah. Probably.
But if you want to watch it on your computer, I'm saying it's extremely limiting. And who wants to watch a movie on their phone? I mean, I know that probably makes me sound old, but I don't want to watch movies on my phone.
It does make
I'm
an
old guy now. I'm a whole 41 years old now. I don't want to watch movies on these little tiny screens.
Yeah. While you were going off on that, I did get up and go into the other room. And it is the Christmas with Riff Tracks Santa's Village of Madness DVD that comes with a few bonus shorts, and one of them is What's Happening. And that's the only one that I cannot find on the website. The other ones are Let's Pretend, Magic Sneakers, Join Hands, Let Go, and Aesop's Sound Fables, Frozen Frolics. So What's Happening is only available on this DVD. Now, they did do a special musical version of the What's Happening short that was a digital goodie for one of the live shows. I can't remember for the life of me what it was. But
they've only done 33 of them.
Yeah. It had some of the same jokes as this version of What's Happening, but the entire length of the short, Bill was doing the What's Happening theme song. The whole short. It was great. But I think that's the only way to get that was through digital goodies, and I can't find What's Happening anywhere on the site either. Like I went through my library, the way that we said you have to find the stuff that doesn't show up through search anymore. And it's just not. It's not there. So if you want to watch that short, you got to buy this DVD, which it's a great DVD anyway. Santa's Village of Madness is outstanding.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. So I think that's all we have on the lead up here. Guys, I'm sorry. We got to talk about things now.
Oh well, if we want to put that off for a second, I can talk about something that is directly Riff Tracks related that I worked on over the weekend.
Oh, the Riff Wiki?
Yeah, I went to the long neglected riffwiki.net that's been sort of laying dormant since fandom decided to like change their coding and like make everything a hot mess at the end of 2020.
Yeah,
I went through and I
what we're talking
updated
about here. Boom, the Riff Wiki. There you go.
Yeah, I went through and I updated everything. The front page, like what I used to do with the front page is I used to put down at the bottom. I used to put like the upcoming. Not the upcoming, but like trailers for the most recent riffs.
Yeah.
And they were for like Contamination and like all this stuff in 2019. So what I did was I went through, I took all those out and I replaced them with like evergreen stuff like The Room and Birdemic and Manos and all that. And I moved some of the featured stuff that I don't do anymore. I just put it down at the bottom. It's like riffwiki.net. Feature archive. I mean, I might pick some of that stuff up again, but I think I'm contented to talk about Riff Tracks here on the podcast rather than do all that craziness. But the biggest thing now, I have to go through every single one of the movie pages and input a new info box. I've done that for all of season 1 so far. And I have to do it manually, so it's going to take a few minutes. But the main thing is what I did is I went to the list of Riff Tracks. Like you go there to the front page. Let me go there.
Yep, I'm on the front page. Oh, here's a link to the 2022 Riff Tracks Kickstarter.
Yeah, so you go to right under that. There's Riff Tracks and go to feature films.
Feature films. Here we are. Feature films,
and
folks.
then you go down there and it has a list of every feature film that Riff Tracks has done.
Yep.
Now, before all this, before I went and just like did this massive update, this all stopped in 2020 with like Mortal Kombat. So I went in and I updated this whole thing, which takes a lot longer than you might think. I updated
I'm sure it did.
2021 and season 17, which is 2022 this year. So I do that, like I label the years different seasons because I kind of want to like, show everybody, like emphasize that they've been doing this Riff Tracks even longer than they did MST3K. The Riff Tracks body of work is much larger and much more expansive than Mystery Science Theater 3000. So
just kind of a way to just kind of rub it in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So this is definitely like right now, this year, if you go by my calculations, we are in season 17 of Riff Tracks. And I did because another thing I did this a while ago, but I went and I included all the Riff Tracks Presents as official Riff Tracks in this. So you go on this page, it has every single full length riff that Riff Tracks has done. Now, there's a little thing called Nightmare at Noon. If you want to search for Nightmare at Noon, go down there. It's still on here, Nightmare at Noon, because I can't pretend that they didn't. So if you click on the Nightmare at Noon, see it says October 23rd, 2012. I did erase the Nightmare at Noon page on there.
Yeah.
But what it does, it takes you to the Mutant page and it has a little Nightmare at Noon here thing. And this is sort of an addendum to our Nightmare at Noon discussion, our mutant discussion from a couple of podcasts ago. It says Nightmare at Noon is a 1987 not quite action film directed by Nico Marcusha, blah, 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 blah. It shares cast members, themes, and plot devices with Mutant, and is considered as a sideways sequel. Riff Tracks released their riff in October 2012, generating the long-running Blue Thunder helicopter gag, but it became unavailable in December 2018. So that's when it became unavailable. Information regarding this title was removed from this wiki per special request, and no other information regarding its removal is available. So I think that's a good cop.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm actually right now scrolling through the 2017 year in review, and I'm looking at the.
That was the last year in review. That was the last year in review I did.
And look at this one. Says Jeremy's pick. What?
Oh,
who's that guy?
I forgot.
Retro Puppet Master.
Retro Puppet Master. So that might be something like I might want to pick up again, like write a new Riff Tracks starter kit and maybe start doing the year in review again. Be like, oh, last one we did is 2017. Here we are, 5 years later. Sorry.
Here, just listen to this podcast and it'll give it to you.
Another contributor. I'm generally the only contributor, but there's another guy that likes to keep up on the shorts. So if you go back to the front page.
Yeah.
Go down to, it says Feature Films, Riff Tracks Presents, Riff Tracks Live. You go to Riff Tracks Shorts.
Yep.
And there's actually an entire, because before, and I went in and I modified this. But he actually went through and he listed all of the shorts. Now, these don't have links to pages because there are no pages for shorts yet. That will take a long time. But you do have a contributor named Sitting Duck did this under my guidance because I wanted it to match. And I still went in and fixed some things.
Well, thanks, Sitting Duck. Josh, is that you? Everything else seems to be Josh or his wife.
Yes. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But you go through and every single riff short is here with its release date. So this is actually a functioning wiki again for as far as our purposes go, because we can use it because now that it's up to date again, and I'm going to try to stay on top of it. I know I don't have the same Riff Tracks cred as I used to back when this thing was just like popping, and it still might be the only Riff Tracks fan site out there, but I'm going to try to stay on top of it. Again, the way I used to, and I try to fill in all the blanks with the missing feature pages. That's going to take a while, but this thing's 8 years old. The Riff Wiki is 8 years old. I can't believe that. I feel like I just started this thing sitting wasting time while I'm supposed to be doing graphic design work in my for-profit college in Layton, Utah in 2014. And I was just sitting there in the back of class. They're talking about whatever, and I'm just building the Riff Wiki because I've already done everything that they're talking about.
Josh said it wasn't him.
Well, thank you anyway, Josh. So anyway, the Riff Wiki's back, and it's actually I set it up to where it won't look like I've completely neglected it. Nice.
Good job.
So it's like why are all these the videos? Oh, another thing I found, there's a great new, it's about a year old, but I just found it. There's a great Riff Tracks clip YouTube channel now. It's called, I think, what is it? Because I subscribe to it, and it's
where they put up all the best of stuff.
Yeah, it's like my favorite moments from here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Everybody should subscribe. It's called Riff Tracks Fan Videos. I'm going to put the link in the chat. This is amazing.
If it'll let you.
I love this.
It might not let you. Go ahead and try it, and I'm actually in my mod thing on Twitch here,
Okay.
so if it doesn't let you, I might be able to allow it.
I'm a
There it
mod
goes.
too. It
Okay.
should let me.
Yep, it did.
Okay, yeah. So everybody go to that and subscribe and tell them that the True Blue Riffcast sent you. Subscribe, ring the bell. Let's this guy's doing good work, or I don't know who he is.
The newest video is my favorite moments from Riff Tracks Baby Ghost.
Baby Ghost, yeah.
So go on to that video and say I'm here from the True Blue Riffcast. And
but this is really good. I mean, there are some people who do like my favorite riff tracks from stuff, but like this is like the newest, and it's probably one of the best. But like it's the whole channel is dedicated to it, so it looks like it's only a year old.
Good stuff. Good stuff. For
so like
to...
a real Riff Tracks fan is a real dedicated Riff Tracks fan is doing this. So it's I dig it. I think it's really good. I love it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that, and I like that Riff Tracks is an organization that will let people do stuff like that.
Yeah,
and not like, oh, that's our stuff, you gotta take it down.
Nintendo.
Yeah. Anyway, instead of opening that can of worms, let's open a different can of worms, and let's bite the bullet.
Do we have to?
And let's start talking about things. Now we do actually we do have a new way we want to try and talk about Riff Tracks releases. And
if it doesn't work, we'll just forget we ever did it.
Yeah. And we figured this is the best movie to start this on because, well, you'll find out, but it's more like looking at the actual movie itself and kind of like going through the different parts of that movie, plot, acting, cinematography, sound and music, effects, all that stuff. This is the perfect movie to start this with because this movie in and of itself is going to be very difficult if we just tried to sit there and give you a rundown of the stuff that happens in the movie because this movie is all over the place. And real quick, Nathan James Norman says that the updated wiki looks great. Thanks for doing the massive undertaking, Dave. I don't know if you're actually looking at the chat still. Nathan James Norman in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that, bro.
So, things. It's a 1989 movie that was released on VHS. It is, according to the Wikipedia, it is reportedly the first Canadian shot on Super 8 gore shocker commercially released on VHS. It was filmed in Scarborough, Ontario, and the cast consisted of co-writer Barry J. Gillis and pornographic film star Amber Lynn, and I think she was the news anchor, because I think her name was just Amber Lynn. The plot follows two friends in a remote cabin who discover a womb of monstrous horror that demands graphic dismemberment. What?
Did that happen? Is that what this movie was?
Okay, so real quick, I'm not sure about that. This movie, it starts out with this guy walking into a room in a basement. There's a lady with like a Satan, like a plastic Halloween mask on, and other than that, she's just standing there completely naked. And he comes in, and it's the first line of the movie, "I want you to have my baby." And
right.
The movie doesn't get better at all from that point.
No, it really doesn't. It actually gets worse.
So the lady reaches into like a shower or something and pulls out like a little bassinet, and it has one of the little giant bug evil things in it, and it bites the guy, and then he wakes up on the couch, and then we get this movie that was filmed in someone's basement and stayed there the whole time. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through. We've got 9 points here that we're going to rate this movie on out of... Do we want to do out of 5 or out of 10?
5. Let's make it
out of 5. Okay.
Let's make it simple.
We'll do them out of 5. And we've got plot.
Is 0
acting.
an option?
0. In this case, 0 is definitely an option.
Okay, yeah.
Plot, acting, dialogue, cinematography, editing, effects, sound and music, directing, and character.
Or personality.
Or personality. You've seen us or heard us talking about how movies have like a certain charm or character or personality or whatever, and that can make up for everything else being bad in a movie. And we'll rate this movie on that also. But first, we got to take a look at the plot. The plot of this movie is almost entirely non-existent. I'm sure they had something in mind when they were filming it, but it is definitely not made clear in this film at all. There's a couple things that happen, not including the titular things. I'm sure. Okay. Very sure, Josh. Yeah, there's stuff that happens.
Jeremy and I were watching this at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was early. It was early for me. It was about 7 in the morning.
It was early for me too. It was like 9 a.m.
Yeah. So yeah, it was early to be watching things. It was early. It was early to be watching movies in general.
Yeah. But especially a movie like this.
Yeah. And we kept, Jeremy, how many times did we message each other back and forth? Do you know what's happening?
I'm actually going to bring up our chat from this morning. There was a lot of times where it's just like, do you know what's going on right now? Like, are we supposed to know what's happening here? Yeah, Dave said, OMG, what is happening? All in caps, and all I can respond with is, I don't know. I have no idea. It was so confusing, and the way it started out is jarring enough to really like throw you for a loop.
Yeah, it's sort of get your attention. Only like they squander that. Like the whole thing with like the girl in the devil mask and the topless girl in the devil mask and the baby thing. And then he wakes up from his dream.
Yeah.
And like the okay, there are only 2 other things that I remember specifically from the movie, and it was one of these 2 doofuses talking about putting a tape recorder in the freezer. Yeah. And the only reason I remember that, like, that is so dumb because the tape is going to freeze, you idiot, and it's not going to work. You're going to wreck the tape and the recorder, genius. What?
I do remember that the main character, Don, he was I don't know if he was like impotent or just sterile or whatever, but they couldn't have a baby. Him and his wife, Susan, they couldn't have a baby, and so they got this doctor, Dr. Lucas, to do an experimental, I guess like in vitro. I don't know exactly. They didn't really say what it was, but she gives birth in the movie, and it's just this. It almost kind of looked like a chest burster coming out of her.
Yeah.
And it was just this weird like.
Okay, I remember that now that you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a thing from like Alien, right? I've never seen Alien.
Yeah, it kind of looked like.
Isn't that where the thing pops out of his stomach? And like I only know that happens because of Spaceballs.
Yes, it's John Hurt, and it's actually John Hurt in Spaceballs too, which is why he says, "Oh no, not again." But yeah, the bug pops out of her, and And then the movie starts to make even less sense, and you can tell even less what's going on with the story. It's just they're these literally just things come out, and they're trying to kill Doug, who's Don's brother. I think Fred was Beard Guy's name. And then that's really it as far as characters. We get these weird fake news reports intermittently that have nothing to do with the movie.
From Basement News, yeah. Was that talking about like the like someone's gonna go like they landed like that lady and on that set landed a interview with the leader of the Soviet Union.
Yes, there's some things in here. Like there's that. Don has all these paintings in his house, and they're just like, oh yeah, he got that one as a gift from the Queen of England, and this is Salvador Dali's whatever painting, and oh, this one we thought that one was burnt, and nope, it just Don has it along with a tape recorder with a tape in it in the freezer. Which, side note, after the brother pulls that out of the freezer, he then puts his coat in the freezer.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So plot ranking wise is going to get a big fat 0 from me.
Big old goose egg.
Big old goose egg. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a 0.5.
What?
Because there was something, even if you couldn't figure out what the hell it was, there was actually something. There were like 2 parts that you could kind of understand what was going on, but that's it. So I'm giving it as a 0.5.
Okay. So what's next? Acting?
Acting is next. This is where we definitely get a big fat 0.
Yeah, 0, because like I don't know what else to say about this. It was just a couple of dudes making a movie who never acted at all.
Yep. No, and you could tell like I'm sure some of it was like ADR. At least it sounded like it was ADR. And it was bad. Some of it, like, we talk about how bad dubbing can be in some of these movies and like the ghost house effect and stuff like that. This like is a new level underneath all of that stuff. It's like completely like the bar is on the ground for this. Same with the dialogue.
Yeah,
the dialogue.
Yeah, dialogue is. I couldn't tell you a single line of dialogue. I don't remember it. I flushed it all.
There are some lines in this movie that were just like, what are they? How are? Okay, so the very first line in the movie, "I want you to have my baby." Creepy as all hell, especially in the setting that it was in. And oddly enough, probably one of the clearest spoken lines in the whole movie, even though it did sound kind of garbled. Then we have the weird newscasts and the little conversations that they're having there. Like, one is a dude that is definitely just sitting in a basement somewhere in front of a like blank wall that's like navy blue or something and has a sign stuck up on it. And you can't even understand what he's saying. Literally, you can't understand what he's saying. There's other lines in the movie, like when they show up in the guy's house and they pull a Star Games and they just start going, Don or Doug. It was Doug. Dog. And then they're just like, Dog.
Mariposa.
Aren't you home? They go to watch TV. They go to watch TV, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, they get good channels up here. They get the Bestiality Network up here." What? What the hell are you talking about? The Bestiality Network? Like, what is it? Blah.
He's into furries wearing thongs.
The whole, just everything in this movie and the way it's delivered. Like, people are dying, and they sound like they're in the other room, like, having a grand old time. Help, it's eating me. I'm not dead yet. Take me to the hospital. They can replace almost anything these days in the hospital. Look, I'm still alive. And he opens the door, and it's a freaking skull with an eyeball and some meat still attached to it.
Is that supposed to be a joke?
I guess. I don't know. But this gets a 0 for dialogue. And then moving into the next category here, cinematography.
That didn't exist. It didn't.
It existed only at the fact that there was a camera involved. And I'm not even sure that was the case half the time, because a lot of it looked like it was filmed on a potato.
Like they put the camera on the floor,
Like everything was happening like out of frame or half out of frame. When the one guy, Don, he's got the electric drill that's plugged in, and he's just like standing there, and he starts like moving it forward, like back and forth and back and forth, and you don't really know like why is he drilling a hole in the wall, and then it like cuts in close, and you can kind of see like some flecks of blood appearing on his face, and he's supposed to be killing one of the things. But you can't see it. Then the very next shot, it's him killing one down on the ground, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of in frame. It was there, and he was drilling into it. It was all over the place, man. All over the place. Just like the editing. The editing was also all over the place in this movie. There's stuff that happens and you're not sure where it's supposed to be happening or who the people are or if it's even in the right order. Like this
I'm gonna be honest.
This movie was just a mess.
This seems like to be a good place to say this. I didn't watch this entire movie. I couldn't do it. Watched about 6.
He skipped ahead and he's like, I don't feel like I missed anything. And I'm like, no, you really didn't. So you missed some good jokes, and that's about it.
I watched about 65% of it. And then I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I skipped to the end. And it's just like, they were still like these random popping, like this news reporter is still just popping in. And it's still just like these two schlubs just like running around in their basement. It's like I feel like I didn't miss anything. I feel like the movie didn't change at all. It didn't go to like any different locations. It didn't do any of that.
No. It took place in fewer rooms than The Room.
Yeah.
That had more locations in it than this movie did.
Well, the room had the room had the titular room, the bedroom, the roof, the alley,
the flower shop, the coffee shop,
the flower shop,
the field where they threw the football.
Yeah, the balcony.
Yeah, it had all kinds of places.
Yeah, it had all kinds of locations, man. This is just like they're just like in grandma's basement.
Yep. I did actually remember another category that I have to add, but we'll get to that at the very end. The effects in this movie existed. They existed.
I think we gotta be fair here.
Would have looked better if you could actually see what was going on.
Yeah,
but the effects,
lighting.
The effects were there. I mean, there were some that actually looked not horrible, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but like the aforementioned half dead skull thing, that was a good effect. It looked like what it was supposed to, and it didn't look actually super cheap. Now the things themselves did. I mean, they looked decent, but they were basically like a rubber toy. And there was very, very slight puppeteering in one shot that I noticed, where it looked like the legs were moving and the thing was actually crawling a little bit. But it was only for a split second. And then there's this weird scene, and I think it was the doctor that kind of takes place towards the beginning of the movie after one of the news things, where they're looking at this person who's like half burnt, and it was like a burnt arm. It looked pretty good for a burnt arm, for at least how you could see it. And then there was like a severed head that was better than a lot of other severed heads in cheap, no-budget movies. That's honestly was the best things that they did in this movie. I'm giving the effects, me personally, I'm giving the effects of 1.5 out of 5. Just because I think they actually did somewhat of a passable job with them. We've seen way worse in other movies.
Yeah, I give it a 3, honestly.
Wow.
But got to be fair with just like, I mean, the movie is Copper Mountain trash tier garbage. but they did make at least one good creature that exploded out of a woman's stomach and killed her.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene specifically. Yeah. So it actually had a few decent effects, surprisingly enough. But the only good thing about this movie, because then we go into the sound and music, and what did they say? The composer of Roller Gator looked at this and said, "Wow, Casio would have been way worse." Oh, way more annoying.
Oh, God.
And again, this is another one of those movies where when something's happening on screen, the style of music doesn't match it. Like, there's music, but it's either too upbeat or too intense, or just, it's way off base. The credit song was somewhat
weird.
Not 100% terrible. I'm giving it a 0.5 for sound and music, just because it was there.
Okay.
it wasn't 100% constant guitar noodling. Directing.
I love the guitar noodling in Roller Gator.
I know. It works in that movie. As annoying as it is, it does work in that movie. Directing, 0. I'm just giving it a flat 0.
There wasn't any directing.
No.
No one directed anybody in this.
He put the camera down and said, "Go."
He put the camera down on Grandma's dirty floor, and okay, say your lines.
I don't wait, we have lines? Oh yeah, here we go. I'm just looking for a cockroach snack. Actual line of dialogue. Actual line of dialogue from this movie. Awful. It was awful. Directing, non-existent. So let's quick do a rundown of these first 8.
Okay.
Plot, we have 0.5, 0 for acting, 0 for dialogue, 0 for cinematography, 0 for editing. I just put 3 for effects because I'll defer to the higher score on these. Sound and music, 0.5, directing, 0. That leads us to character/personality of this movie. And this is where the confusion sets in for us. Because this movie is apparently like a real cult classic, like a really popular cult movie, but it has 0 character or personality. 0.
We don't know why this movie is famous. Like, why does it have a Wikipedia page? Like, what was it about? Like things with The Room and Birdemic, and to a lesser extent Ghost House and things like that. It's you're kind of drawn to them because they're just so they have each of these movies has their own sort of charm and personality, and that's what keeps you kind of glued to it. It makes you just kind of love it in spite of itself.
Yeah.
Even something as garbage awful as Lichen Colony has so much charm that you can't you actually come to like it. And Suburban Sasquatch has charm out the wazoo.
Oh yeah.
This doesn't have any of that. I mean, I would say that this movie's personality is the personalities of the 2 basement dwelling doofuses that shot it.
You know, when we
but
were
it's just
talking
like,
about this movie, I gotta throw this in there real quick before I forget. This kind of has to do with directing. You said it was like a budget Polonia Brothers.
yeah.
And,
It's like a discount Polonia Brothers.
I said that it's like if you take the Polonia Brothers and you mix them with the guy behind Fungicide and Suburban Sasquatch, and then strip away
Dave
any
Wascavage.
ounce of talent. Dave Wascavage. Yeah.
That's his
I forgot
name. His
I
name is
forgot his
Dave
name.
Wascavage.
I can't believe I forgot his name because we had a big discussion on that when we were talking about Suburban Sasquatch with I don't remember who that was now, Eric or Peter, one of the guys. But yeah, you mix them together and you strip all talent from them. That's this movie right there. It really awful.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I don't think I've seen a Riff Tracks movie as devoid of just completely devoid of like charm and joy as this one. I think the only one that comes close is Copper Mountain. Now, Copper Mountain like is worse because that's just like scraping bottom of the barrel, like just whatever. And like the only reason anybody even cares about it is because Jim Carrey and Alan Thicke are in it, and it's just like this weird novelty. But like at least Copper Mountain has that going for it. Now Copper Mountain's still very bottom. This doesn't. I don't think that. I don't think that Things can best Copper Mountain and prop it up to like the number 2 spot. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't even know if Things is number 2 worst. But I would say it's in the bottom 10.
It's way down
Like
there easily.
It's so joyless. Like
There's
I got
nothing that hooks you about this movie at all.
yeah, it's like and to bring it back around, that being said, we're not sure why this movie is famous. Now,
Nope.
okay, you look at somebody like Neil Breen, okay? Neil Breen's movies are a disaster.
Yep.
But you can't turn away because you can't tell, is this guy serious? Is this just like the most perfect long con like prank? But like it's like there's so many questions about Neil Breen. Like
Poe's
only
Law
question
is strong with Neil Breen.
yeah, I don't know what questions I have. Like, I'm not interested in finding out anything about like the behind the scenes of of things, because just like things with like The Room and Neil Breen and Birdemic and all these things, and like Suburban
I know
Sasquatch,
exactly
it's like
one.
you want to know more. Like you want to know more. You want to know what drove these people to do this, and you want to celebrate it. This, I just like, I want to know why it was famous, and then I want to forget it forever.
No, I know exactly one behind the scenes thing about this movie.
Okay.
The woman from the beginning of the movie, the naked lady, she was a prostitute.
Oh.
And they were trying to find her for when they did the DVD release of this movie in 2008, but they could not find her.
Well, she's probably dead.
Yeah. Oh, and apparently
she
she
died
was
tragically on a park bench somewhere.
Yeah. She was they only added Amber Lynn to the movie. Her newscast scenes. those were actually only added so they could put her on the VHS cover so they could boost sales.
Oh, so it's like the Jim Carrey Copper Mountain thing.
Yeah, those were only added to the movie so that they could credit her and boost sales of the movie itself.
It's kind of like all these garbage movies out there that are hiring Bruce Willis.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, this
There's a lot of them
phenomenon
right
like
now.
all these Bruce Willis movies that are just total hot garbo, and he's in them for like 5 seconds. He doesn't know his lines, but yeah, he's just like on on the cover, and like dads and grandpas are like at the red box being like, "Oh, Bruce Willis movie." You know?
There's a lot of really good interesting stuff on the trivia listed for this under IMDb. The prostitute thing is on there. Of course.
Let's hear that.
Barry J. Gillis claimed that in a local TV interview around the time of filming that the budget for this movie was $350,000. When this footage
Keep
footage was
talking.
included
I
on the
gotta go mute
DVD.
for just 1 second.
As an on-screen annotation, claimed that the budget was actually closer to only $40,000, which still seems too high for me. The sandwich eating scene was filmed over a few days because not all 3 cast members of that scene were there at the same time. That scene was actually improvised, where he squished the bug and put it on the sandwich when a bug crawled on the table. The director, I think that's the director, Andrew Jordan. Let me check real quick. Before I say something different here, yes, the director Andrew Jordan said that filming this movie was the worst experience of his life, especially the last 6 months where he was doing post-production with Barry Gillis. It's pretty bad when you say it's the worst experience of your life. Whew. Doug Bunston was also going to be a co-producer until he was forced to get a job by his family a week before shooting. Due to his job, his lines and part had to become smaller. That's hilarious. That's what a reviewer said too. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was listening to all that while I was muted, and I wanted to respond, but I couldn't because it would have been really gross. So.
Doug, the actor Doug Bunsen, was drunk during filming. Providing beer was a requirement for him to act in the movie.
Wait, he had to be drunk during the movie?
That was his requirement. The guy who played the brother that they went to go see, his house, Doug, he was drunk during the filming. Which some of that makes a little bit of sense now with the way that he was delivering some of his lines, because some of it was very bizarrely delivered. And if he was just like, because he was all like his tongue was hanging out and he's laughing and stuff. And yeah, that makes sense that if that's why he was giving those lines like that, because he was drunk. In the dream sequence at the beginning of the movie, Doug was wearing an Andre the Giant pin on his shirt. Interesting.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's a wrestling fan. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, man. Wow. I'm not saying that makes anything better, but it makes things make a little bit of sense as to why they were done the way they were.
It really does. And I really shouldn't be saying things like that, being given some things in my background. But
Yep.
But
our last character and personality is, of course, 0 on this movie.
Zero,
Our last category that I completely forgot to add to this list and brings us up to a nice round 10 is, of course, the riffs. There were a lot in this movie that I cackled at. One of my favorites was when Bill said, "Hey guys, this Tim and Eric episode just isn't working for me." because it kind of felt like that. I'm not gonna lie. The other one that really got me is just something that kind of hit me on a personal level. When one of the characters was stabbing one of the things, I think it was Bill again, said, "This is what I imagine it's like working for Orkin." And the reason it hits me on a personal is because I did work for Orkin Pest Control for about a year or so, maybe. Awful job. Awful job. Decent company to work for. Awful job. Like, the worst part of it was that, and I don't know if this has changed since then, but when you got hired on as an exterminator for Orkin, at least back when I worked there, you were paid salary.
Really?
Which, if you get paid salary at a job, unless you're like an executive or something, you're not getting paid enough, because that means that they can work you however much they want to. And you don't get paid for, overtime or, going over 40 hours a week or anything like that. When I was working Orkin, the amount of time that I was working per week made so I was hourly making about $5 an hour.
That is terrible.
Yeah. Because I would literally work from like 6 a.m. to 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then most of the day on Saturday as well.
You know what you do? You
quit
when you're an exterminator. Well, no. You start your own extermination company, and then you like go around to like neighborhood stuff at night, and you like release bugs in like everybody's houses. It's called creating business. It's called growing your business.
Growing your business. You just take the bugs from one house to another. No, you have
to put food on the food on the table for your family.
There was a place. I'm going to tell this story real quick because this was probably my worst. The worst thing I encountered while I was working there. I had to go to a hospital that was for I want to word this properly and delicately. Basically, it was the place that they sent people if they were deemed mentally unfit.
Not how you can say that,
to stand trial or things of that nature.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they had a lot of buildings on their facility, and one time I had to go there. I had to go into one of their buildings that they no longer used, at least they weren't using it for the time being. And we had some. There's like they're like a glue trap, but it's for testing. Like you put it down, and then you go to your next visit, and you see what different types of bugs or whatever got caught in it, and then that way you can know how to treat that area. And I went in to get those out of there, and some of them, well, all of them had some roaches on them that were bigger than my thumb, here's my thumb size compared to the microphone. They were gigantic, biggest bugs that I've seen in person like that. And one of them was on its back, stuck to the thing. And this was my first time going there. The last time an Orkin guy was there was 2 months prior. And this thing was on its back, and its legs were just very slowly moving because it was still alive. It was disgusting. It was one of the grossest things that I ever had to deal with. Well, so that riff landed with me hard.
Well, as long as we're telling stories about cockroaches.
Well, I mean, the guy was looking for a cockroach snack in this movie, so.
Yeah. When I was training to be an Army recruiter, I went to the recruiter school there at Fort Jackson, and the recruiter school is, I think, like about 9-10 weeks long, something like that, or 4 weeks. I don't remember. It was 20 years ago, but I do remember I was 20 years old. I was one of the youngest Army recruiters in history, but there was a guy. I wanted to say that I was the youngest, Army recruiter in history, but there was a guy in my class who was like 2 months younger than I was. He was going
Boo.
to turn 21. I turned 21 the day after we graduated. He turned 21 like 2 months after we graduated, and I was like, damn it. But I still went around and told people that I was the youngest Army recruiter in history because who's going to check? And,
Right.
but anyway, so they had us up in this weird hotel on Fort Jackson, and it was like right next to a basic training facility. Now I was 20 years old, and I still look pretty young, but I had been in the Army for a couple of years at that point. But that's got nothing to do with the story. Just to tell you how young I was, as opposed to how not young I am now. But we're in this hotel, and my first day there is like it was like a Sunday, it was a weekend, and like class started the next day. So I open the door, and it's just like this rickety old, like really gross World War II barracks that they converted into like guest quarters for like people visiting Fort Jackson.
Yeah.
And so I put all my stuff down, and I go into
I don't like where this is going.
I go in to take a shower. I open it up, and I flip the light on, and I pull back the shower curtain, and the bathtub is just filled with roaches. Just completely filled with them. I was like, oh no, what do I do? And I go to the front desk, and no one's there. And I'm just like, oh,
Of course not.
So what I did was I went, this was in October of 2001. So I went to the PX, which is like, and I didn't have a car there. So I walked down to the PX like a chump, past all these basic training companies, and hopefully like they're not going to confuse me being so young as being one of their recruits in basic training. I'm looking over there, and I was like, oh, I remember doing that 2 or 3 years ago, and that was terrible. But so I went to the PX, and I got those bug bombs, and I went back, and I bug bombed the bathroom in my and they said you have to leave for like however long, like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I bug bombed the bathroom in this hotel room so I could just take a shower. And I just remember just like walking aimlessly around Fort Jackson for like 2 hours until finally I just like, okay, I'm going back. They should all be dead. And they were, and I had to clean out the bathtub and just like get rid of like just I had to pick them up. I mean, they were dead, but I had to pick them up. I had to I had some trash bags and just put them in there, and like I had to go find a dumpster after that, just like get rid of that, and then just like hose the whole thing down. And then I was able to take a shower after my long flight. It was like 8 or 9, and I landed at like 2.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's my cockroach story.
That's way worse than my cockroach story. Like, way worse than my cockroach story.
You think so?
Yeah. You had a whole bathtub full of cockroaches, man. That's way worse than mine. I didn't have to. I only had to take care of one at that point. No, and I took it back and I put it on the break room table at the office. Just a half-dead cockroach sitting on its back. So things.
Yeah, we just grossed out our audience.
It's completely.
Maybe I did, but
riffs, I'm giving it a 4.5 for riffs.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.
Not because I think it's not up to par or whatever, but it kind of loses a little bit just because of the movie itself.
Yeah, the movie is
it goes back to the whole
slog.
We all like pancakes.
Yeah.
Movie selection. And for some people, I'm sure that they absolutely loved this riff. I mean, I loved the riff too. Like I said, I thought it was hilarious, but Man, this one was hard to get through. Like, it was
The movie
hard
is just so
to get
joyless.
through.
I can't imagine myself watching it again. It's just gonna sit in my library like other. I mean, like, I'm not complaining, but I'm not gonna watch it again because I'm not gonna get anything out of it.
Yeah. So I want to get like a total here out of a possible 50 points. This movie got 5, 6, 7, 8.5 out of 50.
Out of 50, wow, that's pretty bad. That's like an F minus.
8.5 points out of a possible 50. And then it was only saved because of the effects. Like, that's the only thing that brought this movie up above 5.5 points.
Above like 3, yeah.
That's pretty bad. So, Dave, the question here that we like to pose whenever we're done talking about a riff: would you watch this movie
You know
on
the
riff?
answer. No, I didn't even want to watch it with the riffs, for God's sake.
Oh man. Yeah, my
Why
answer
is
is a
this
big
movie
fat
famous?
no.
We need like that's my one question.
I don't know. Why was this so? Like, they said this was a highly requested title. Okay, here's my thing. I sent in a copy of a movie called Carver's Gate.
Carver's Gate. Yes, I have that.
And Carver's Gate is, I don't know, it's mid 90s direct to video sci-fi cheesiness. And from my understanding, there was one particular person out of the 3 guys who riffed these movies for us that gave that movie a hard no. And then they do
Have
things.
you told me who this was before?
I may have. I'll message
look.
it to you.
Look. Well, before you message it to
But
me,
I will
I'm going to
say,
go ahead and say who my guess is for this.
yeah.
And then you just give me a thumbs up if I'm
Go for
right.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say that it was Mike Nelson that said no to this. That said no to Carver's Gate.
But here's my thing too. This same person also gave a hard no to Baby Ghost initially too. So I guess there still could be hope. I don't know, but I mean, I see him do movies like Things, and I'm like, it hurts a little bit more because it's like, really, guys, like, you do this?
Well,
Whatever.
they probably did it because, number one, it was probably cheap.
Oh, I'm sure.
And number two, it was big. It was highly requested. I mean, I think the only people who know about Carver's Gate is you. It is.
Yeah, probably. But hey, they did Light Blast, so
Yeah, they followed. I like to think that that's because of us. I would like to think that.
I'm about 80% that it was us. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say 80% that was us. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. And I would pat your back too, but you're in, Utah.
Yeah. Did we ever determine who discovered that first? Was it me or you? I think
That
it's
one,
impossible to tell.
yeah, I don't remember. It was because it was at the time where we just were like nonstop every other day sending each other a link to a new movie and both watching it.
It
and
was
talking about how garbage it was.
Yeah, about how it was. What was it? What was the other one that we saw about that same time? That Haunted Ween. Yeah, that's
Haunted
right.
Ween. Yep, I found that one. I
think we watched Light Blast and Haunted Ween like back to back.
Yeah,
and it's
and
crazy
then
because they have the exact same ending.
Either before that or right after it was when we saw Dinosaur Island.
Yeah,
Which I do. I have that bad feeling, just like you do.
Like, yeah,
They've been doing the Fred Olin Ray movies.
Fred Olin Rays. Yeah,
Got a bad feeling about this.
At least they're not doing Donald Farmer movies.
Yeah, that could
You
be.
know who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be that.
Google
be a
Shark Exorcist.
Yeah, look up Shark Exorcist or what was the other one? Dorm of the Dead.
Yeah, Dorm of the Dead.
Yeah. You can watch Shark Exorcist on Tubi right now for free, so if you want to torture yourself.
Really? Why?
If you really want to torture yourself,
Yeah.
go head over to Tubi and watch all these free movies. They get a ton of like low and no budget horror movies on there all the time. And there's probably some good stuff on there. I know there's a bunch of riff tracks on there that you can watch still. Actually, I'm going to look it up and see what they got real quick. So if you want to watch ad-supported riff tracks free content, they have both versions of Plan 9 from Outer Space, the live show and the 3-riffer studio version. The live Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny show, Miami Connection live, Sharknado live, Samurai Cop live, Manos live. Here's an interesting thing. They have the Riff Tracks Live Jack the Giant Killer show on there.
Oh.
That you can't even purchase right now.
That's okay.
I'm going to open that in a new tab, and I'm going to check on that after the show's over.
Check to see if
anything is
there.
not there anymore. Hey, they got Psycho. They have a ton of Riff Tracks on here. Like, a ton. Uninvited, Psychotronic Man, Zindi, God Monster of Indian Flats, Firehead.
Those are all really good ones.
The Dark
They got
Power,
some really good stuff there.
Wonder Women, the other Riff Tracks Live Sharknado, Cool as Ice, Icebreaker, Death Promise, Supersonic Man, Replica, Mutant. Here's Mutant again. Guy from Harlem, Ghost House. They got all kinds of good stuff on here, man.
They got all the best stuff there.
Hey, Swamp of the Ravens, Spiker, Julian Jack, Santa's Summer Home, Ruby, yeah. Hey, the Bloody Pit of Horror, the one that we just talked about a couple weeks ago, was on here.
About. Okay,
Roller
speaking
Gator.
of stuff we want to talk about. I know we wanted to talk about City of the Dead.
Yeah.
But there is something that I want to talk about. I haven't seen this one since they released it.
Ooh.
But it's fascinating to me. It's not the best.
Okay.
But it's fascinating. Nonetheless, as to like why they picked it and like why does this movie exist. It's a movie called Yambao.
Oh yeah, we have brought that up before. We were going to talk about it at some point. Yeah, let's do it.
So I mean, maybe not next time, but like soon, like in the next 2 or 3.
Here, if we don't get a new release this week, we'll do Yambao next week.
Okay.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm good with that. We will do Yambao.
Okay.
I'll put it on here on our liner notes here, Yambao. So there you go, guys. There's your homework. If they don't give us a release on Friday, we will talk next week about Yambao. I will remember to have the Shorts Volume 1 thing here so we can look at the ridiculousness of the CG thing that they attempted.
Yeah.
That there's no wonder why they didn't keep that going. Yeah, that's everything for today, guys. I want to get things out of my mind as soon as possible. So I'm probably gonna go play some Action Arcade Wrestling, I think, since that just dropped on the Switch, and I just picked that up a couple days ago. And
can you create a wrestler in that?
You can create wrestlers, but you have to use a free program through Steam to do so. And it seems very complicated because you have to do like skins and like all kinds of stuff. So I doubt I will ever actually make any characters for this game, but there are a ton because this game's been out for like 2 years on Steam. And so there's a ton of characters. They have like 20 different versions of Sting. Like, Halloween Havoc like this year and Bash at the Beach this year. And it's there's so many, and it's kind of interesting to see the variations on all the stuff that they have. But I'll probably be playing that, or maybe some Pokemon Legends Arceus, just to get things out of my head. And yes, I am actually 12. That's what my wife says all the time. She's like, "What are you, 12?" Yes. It's that, and what's wrong with you? And if I don't get one of those in a day, my day just doesn't feel complete. But we're gonna wrap things up today. If you enjoy the podcast, obviously you can subscribe here on Twitch, where we go live once a week. Generally speaking, usually once a week, unless my schedule gets changed or Dave gets a job or something. But you can subscribe right here. We'll take bits, any of that stuff too. You can throw those our way, or you can head over to patreon.com/trueblueriffcast, and you can support us over there. All the money that we get from all this stuff goes right back into the podcast. Usually goes towards buying riffs and stuff like that. Since I did get some new equipment recently using some of the money. So thank you to all our supporters, like Josh Flowers, who's in the chat. Thanks for your support, Josh, on everything. And if you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, you can do so at TBRiffcast. What else am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, if you haven't yet, follow us here on Twitch, and that way you'll get a notification every time we go live. We also post it on Twitter as soon as we go live also. And you can follow me on Twitter at PBandAwesome.
And I'm Dave. You can check me out on the web at davechadwick.info and follow me on, what the hell is it, Twitter at dchadwickauthor. And you can get all my books like Monkey and Tumbleweed Dossier, Son of Santa, Happy Valley. You can get all them on Amazon and Audible.
Nice. And we are going to go raid somebody real quick. Ammo's on. She's playing some Horizon Forbidden West. We'll go show her some love here on Twitch, and we'll see you guys later on the next episode of the True Blue Riffcast.
Rock till you die.